In this video, I'm going to show you how to export any Excel dataset into SPSS for analysis. I'm going to use a fictitious dataset to demonstrate how it is done. So here is our Excel dataset. So let's assume that I have conducted an online survey and I have collected the data in an Excel format. Note that I will leave links in the description section of this video, so you can download this Excel file and the final SPSS dataset. Also, in the Excel file, you will see here, over here, there is a link where you can click. You will have access to the questionnaire. So this will help you understand better the dataset. For instance, this dataset was for SME owners. There are a couple of questions in the questionnaire. Question 1 over here is regarding the marketing strategies that SME owners used the most. So you have two categories over here. In a real questionnaire, you should normally have more than two categories for the type of marketing strategies. So you can just go through the questionnaire and the dataset. You will understand each question. So now the aim of this video is to show you how to transfer this Excel dataset to SPSS. So one might be tempted to just copy the whole dataset and paste it directly on SPSS to analyze the data. You will see that I have not copied the first row because the first row is the variable names. So now open SPSS dataset, let's paste it, and I'm going to show you what could go wrong and what would be the sign that your data is not properly inserted or exported to SPSS. So at first glance, it appears that there is no problem with the data. Let me zoom in. I'm going to show you a telltale sign that your data is not going to be analyzed properly on SPSS. You see here for the first variable over here, you have a small letter A. And if you look closely, for all the categorical variables or categorical questions, you will have this small letter A. But for variables like this one, where you will have numbers, so it is numeric, the data is numerical, you will not have this small letter A. SPSS is in fact indicating that it is reading this column as being alphabets or words. You know, any programming software will not analyze words or alphabets. Programming software like SPSS analyze only numbers. So the logical thing to do here is to convert each category into a number, a unique number. And this process is referred to as coding. So you will have to code each category of each variable. So here you have two categories. You will have to give a number, unique number to each category. So here it's clear that you are not going to be able to analyze your data because of this small letter A over here. So I can remove this data set. First, the first step when doing coding, you have to open your questionnaire or any file that is related to your questionnaire. And you will have to assign numbers to each category because SPSS will analyze only numbers, not words or alphabets. For the first variable pertaining to the marketing strategies, for the first category, let's code it as 1, and second category is coded as 2. One might say that the first category might be coded as 0 and the second might be coded as 5. So the number doesn't really matter as long as you have unique numbers differentiating between the categories. But I prefer to be consistent with the coding so I do not make any mistake down the line. So I always start by 1 for the first category and 2 for the second category. So if I have 5, a code of 5, I will know that it corresponds to the fifth category of a particular variable. So you'll have to continue the coding for all the categorical, only the categorical questions or variables. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you just continue throughout the questionnaire. And notice that this question over here is talking about revenue. So you know that you're going to have a numerical data over here. So it will be a number by default. So if it is a number, it is numerical in nature, then there is no need to code this variable. This is the same, so no need to code the variable. For the last two, you will have to do the coding 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So having completed the coding for all the variables, categorical variables, now I want to mention one important thing, which is called reverse coding. So reverse coding. So you should take pay close attention to reverse coded questions. Let me explain what is a reverse coded question. So at the bottom, I have given you an example of reverse coding. Let's take the example of you have 3 questions. Okay, you have 3 questions. You will have to answer 3 questions regarding satisfaction, job satisfaction. So you have to select one of those statements. So for the first statement, I am satisfied with my job. Let's say I check this. I am satisfied with my salary. Let's say this one. And I am unsatisfied with my career progression at the company thus far. So let's say I have checked all strongly agree. And we have coded like before. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can have more than 3 questions measuring the same construct, which is satisfaction, job satisfaction. And reverse coding question applies to question where all the questions are measuring the same underlying construct, where here it's satisfaction. So to know if you have a reverse coded question in your questionnaire, it is fairly simple. So here, you know that, let's say we have checked the number 5. So what the number 5 would represent here? So a higher number would represent a higher satisfaction level. In this example, I'm satisfied with my job if I've checked strongly agree. It means that I strongly agree that I'm satisfied with my job. So a high number would indicate a high level of satisfaction. So a high number, so 5 would indicate a high level of satisfaction here. So 5 would indicate here, so let's say strongly agree that I'm satisfied with my salary. So of course, this also would mean 5 would mean a high level of satisfaction. But in this instance, you will see it is easily detected. For instance, you will see this part over here. This formulation is reversed. We were talking about satisfaction here. We started talking about unsatisfied, which is reversed. This is the first sign that you have a reverse coded question. But sometimes the wording might not be so easy to detect if it is reverse coded. So you can use this part to detect the reverse coding questions. So here you continue 5. Always use the same number. You should always look, what would 5 represent for this question? What would 5 represent for this question with regard to one construct, which is satisfaction? So 5 here would represent, if I said, I strongly agree that I am unsatisfied with my career progression at the company thus far. This would mean that 5 would mean a low level of satisfaction. You see, here it mean the higher the number, it would mean the total opposite. So it would mean a low level. You see the first question, 1, high number, high satisfaction, high number, high satisfaction. Here, high number, low satisfaction. So now what you need to do, you need to make all the variables, all the questions measuring satisfaction, measure satisfaction in the same direction. That is, a high number should always represent a high level of satisfaction. So what you need to do is just to reverse code your categories. So instead of here it was 1, you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, if I said 5 over here, I responded 5. This would mean I strongly disagree that I'm unsatisfied with my career progression at the company thus far. Then it would make sense. So then 5 would always mean, or high number would always mean, a high level of satisfaction. So this is only a short explanation of reverse coding question. I'm going to make another video where I'm going to talk about the questionnaire design, because you might notice that reverse coding question pertains mostly to how you phrase your question in your questionnaire. So here I have phrased my question in a reversed manner compared to the other questions. So this I'm going to explain in another video. Let's go back to our questionnaire. So we have already assigned numbers to each category. Now we need to transfer these codes to Excel. When we have completed the transfer from your questionnaire to Excel, you will have to tell now SPSS, well, 1 would mean social media marketing and 2 would mean email marketing. Then you should transfer the coding to SPSS. So you will see you have 3 steps. Step 1 is to code your questionnaire. Step 2 is to transfer the coding to Excel, and step 3 is to transfer finally the coding to SPSS. So you need to follow those 3 steps in order to be able to analyze your data properly. So now let's move to our Excel dataset, because it is step 2. Now, here you just need to transfer this coding over here in the categories over here. So you have to replace social media marketing by 1 in your Excel file. But first, it is super important that you proceed in a way such that you do not work directly with your original dataset. The only thing that you need to do with your original dataset is to insert over here, you insert a new column where you call it the ID. So the ID will help you to identify if you have made any mistake down the line when conducting the coding. So just give an ID for each respondent. So the first person is ID'd as 1, second person 2, third person 3. So you do it for all the respondents, all the people that answered your questionnaire. So we had 60 respondents. So you just need to copy the whole data set over here, and you paste it in a working data set, so in a separate Excel tab. I have already done so over here. So now in this window, I will do all the coding. So to facilitate the coding, you just need to have your questionnaire in front of you. So what we need to do here is just replace social media marketing. So to replace, you press Ctrl and H on your keyboard, or you simply click on Home and this icon over here and replace. Now find what we want to find: social media marketing, and I want to replace it by my coding over here, which is 1. So you click on replace all. So you see that in this column for strategy, I had 30 responded that used social marketing as their most uh, used marketing strategy. So you have to do it for the second category, which is email marketing, which we coded as, we have assigned the number 2, replaced all. So we need to do it for the whole questionnaire, especially so only for categorical variables, only where you have categories in your variable or in your question. But here you need to be very careful about this question, this likelihood type question. Let's say if you do it like this, you replace, so we have coded disagree as 2. If I do the same process and I do it, you see that if I replace disagree by 2, this one over here, strongly disagree, will be replaced by strongly 2 because it contains the word disagree. So it is important to click on this button over here, options. You just click on this, check this box and this box. So this will solve the problem. So Excel will just search for the exact word and will replace the word by the number that you have assigned. So you can do it in an orderly manner. So I just take the first one. So neutral was 3. Okay. So you just need to do it for the whole questionnaire. So agree was 4. Replace all. Okay, so you need to do it for your whole questionnaire. I have already done the coding for the whole questionnaire in this. So here you will see your data is converted in a form that SPSS would now be able to analyze it. But the issue here, like I've mentioned, I have already completed the first part. I've already coded the dataset in Excel. Now I have to do the coding on SPSS because SPSS doesn't know that 1 corresponds to social media marketing and 2 correspond to email marketing. So you need to go to Excel, to SPSS, open a new SPSS file, and since we are talking about the questions over here, you need to click on variable view and you need to define all the questions in your questionnaire. Here the first question was marketing strategy. In the name over here you could write marketing strategy, but I like to keep it short. So it's Q1, which corresponds to the first question in my questionnaire. And the type should always remain numeric. So depending on the type of analysis, but most analysis would require that this is numeric. So just keep it numeric, the width and the decimal. You don't need to bother about that. It's just about formatting of your data set. So in the label, it is what I do is I just copy the whole question and paste it into this part where it's called label. Why? Because I might come back to my data set after 2 weeks and I might forget what question 1 was. So I come here and say that question 1 was about the marketing strategy. So it's easier to remember. And in the values over here, it's where you do all your coding only for your categorical variables. If you had for instance, if you had this type of variable, for example, this one, then this value should remain none because you do not do coding for variables that are numeric in nature. So let's do for the first one, the coding. So you click on the 3 dots over here, 3 dots over here. You will be prompted by this small window. So now you tell SPSS, well, the value 1 corresponds to what? So value 1 corresponds to social media marketing. Click over here. So value 1 corresponds to social media marketing and you click on add. So you have added this coding into SPSS. So the number 2, so this would depend on the number that you have assigned over here. Number 2 is simply email marketing. So you copy email marketing over here. Paste email marketing ad. Okay. Now you can proceed to this column over here. So you can leave this as blank. Do not mess up with those columns. So you have to indicate what type of measurement was this question on marketing strategy. You know that over here, your marketing strategy, what type of question was, what type of measurement was the first question, the measurement. The measurement pertains to the type of, whether it's categorical or it is numerical. Here you have categories in your answers. So the possible answers are in terms of categories. So categorical variable, as you know, is divided into two sections. You have nominal or ordinal. Nominal and ordinal is easily differentiated, because ordinal is where your categories have some kind of order. Okay, if I say that, if I take email marketing and replace it over here, I wrote email marketing on the top and social media marketing at the bottom, this won't change anything. The order of the categories doesn't matter. If there is no order in the categories, so this question is nominal. So it is a good practice to go through your questionnaire and write a type of measurement for all the questions. So here you will see that there is an order from strongly dissatisfied to strongly satisfied. So from a negative to a positive feeling. So since you have order in your category, so it is ordinal. It's the same category, so it's ordinal. Question 4, ordinal. Question 5, the same question, ordinal. And this question, you need to read it, and you will see that it is talking about the annual revenue. Annual revenue, you will know that it will be reported in terms of numbers. If it is numbers, it is numerical. Then in SPSS, numerical is called scale. Here also it is scale. Let's say if you have height, and you have to state your height in centimeters, maybe 1 meter, 170, 160, 180. So if it is in terms of number, it should be scale. If you have categories, then you should decide whether it is ordered or not ordered. If it is ordered, it is ordinal. So here, it is categorical, so it's obviously ordinal or nominal. So do we have an order over here? No, there is no order in the category, so it is nominal. Here, male, female, so there is, of course, no order. This is a nominal type of variable. And SPSS denotes each type of measurement by small diagrams. So here you will see 3 small circles. So this would represent nominal. Scale is represented by a ruler. And ordinal is represented by this type of diagram. You see like an increasing order. So the diagram for ordinal is like this. So now you have completed the measurement for each variable. You just plug it here. For the first variable, we know that it is nominal. So you click on nominal. Let's do for question 2. Question 2 is this question. Okay, so I'm going to copy the whole question in the label cell over here. So you just need to copy this. The whole question. Now you move to the next cell. So of course you will have to do the coding because there are categories in the question. So I have said that the number 1 I have assigned to the category called strongly disagree. Sorry. Number 2 is disagree. So you will need to complete it for all the categories. Add 3. Let's say you have made a mistake over here, you have mistyped, and you have added this category over here. You can go and change and replace by the appropriate category. So it is it's neutral, change. So you notice that you will not be able to continue the coding because you have made a change in here. You need to click on OK and go back to the coding and continue your coding. So 4 is agree. 5 is finally strongly agree. You add OK. So the coding is completed. You can come back and cross check. So 1 is strongly disagree, 2 is disagree. So all is good. Now you need to proceed to the next, to this one, to the measurement. What type of measurement was this question? It was ordinal. So now you proceed for all the questions. The coding should be done in a similar manner, except for this one. This one is fairly simple because it is numerical. You do not need to do any coding. Let me demonstrate. So only for the categorical variable that you need to do the coding. So Q is Q6, question 6. So revenue, just copy and paste the question. Revenue 2020 would be enough for me. It's enough information. So you notice this, we do not touch it. It will remain none. No coding. You just need to change the type of measurement. You see that it is number. It should be scaled. You notice that the icons over here is the same as this one. So I'm going to complete for the whole data set, and I'm going to show you the final variable view where you will have all your variables. So this could take quite a bit of time if you have a big questionnaire. And let's take the example of this question. So here, over here, is the same as this one, the options, the categories. So you do not need to do the coding again. You can just copy. If you had a question over here, let's say this is question 3. Okay, question 3. You will see question 3 contains the same categories as question 2. Okay. For the coding, you just hover your cursor over here. You copy the coding for the question 2, and you can simply just paste it into this question, which contains the same category. Okay, then you do this ordinal, and this is revenue of this is this question. Just copy the question over here, Control V. So it is quicker that way. So this is a completed variable view where you will have all your variables, all the codings, all the measurements. So now you just need to insert the data in your SPSS file. So you just need to take your Excel file where you have completed the coding, and do not forget to include the ID. The ID is super important to do the cross check. If in case you have, let's say you have deleted this by mistake, so you can always come back to your original data set and look for respondent number 8, and you will know the missing value. Okay, now since the data is in the form of numbers, you can just copy paste it directly on SPSS without any issue. Just copy Now you will see that there is no, the issue of the small alphabets A over here is no longer here. This would indicate that your data is good. There is no problem. So it is a telltale sign. You can come here also. If you come here, you'll see that all the variables that you want to analyze is denoted by numeric over here. You will know that you will be able to analyze it. If you had, let's say here, if you had made a mistake and this was made as a string variable, the problem would be, you will see the small letter a. This would mean that this variable, SPSS will not be able to analyze it. So normally it should be like this. So now you have completed the whole process of transferring your data from Excel to SPSS. Now you can analyze your data set without any issue. So this is it for this video. Thank you very much.